Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement. Our theme this year is we're going to straighten out tricks in 26. Straighten out tricks in 26. All the tricks is over. Changing the voting line. Straighten out tricks in 26. Selling us product but don't give us our diversity, equity, and engagement and inclusion. Straighten out tricks in 26. The tricks is over. It's fighting time. It's stand-up time. It's correcting time.
Rev, you know you were right there
From the beginning.
with the stuff that
Yep.
was going on in Brooklyn at that time, at Howard Beach. You were right there.
He had in one of the early movies, he had my name. Then he put me in Malcolm, but I wasn't even old enough to know Malcolm. So we've been through it all.
For those who see Malcolm X, it's 3 hours. But fast forward to the scene with yourself,
Yep.
Bobby Seale.
Right. Bobby Seale, Denzel, and me.
Yeah.
Denzel was on the set.
Now let me ask a question.
Yep.
What was your weight on that scene?
I probably about 270. I was bigger then.
Yeah.
Still had the hair back.
And you had the head on.
Yeah, it was.
Denzel, yourself, and Bobby Seale.
Yeah, all in one scene.
And also, there was no cut, so we went like this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Only Spike could have done that.
It's Friday,
In the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's in the house.
January 16th. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. Good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM, Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. A lot is happening, and we want you really, this is Exhale Friday, and you not only have a lot to exhale from the week, you can have a lot to exhale just from the last 24 hours with this president and his minions and what they do. but you need to express yourself. Don't go into the weekend holding it in. Let it out, let it out, let it out. All you have to do is call me at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or you can go on our message board at nationalactionnetwork.net, nationalactionnetwork.net, and go to live stream and put in a message, and we'll read your message and your comments. Let me first thank Dominique Sharpton. My daughter sat in for me yesterday. I went to Philadelphia and then on to Lincoln University to kick off National Action Network's HBCU tour, and it was great. We had a full house at Monumental Baptist Church on night before last, and then Lincoln had a packed auditorium. I did the convocation at Lincoln University, the first of our HBCU stops. And what the HBCU tour is about, we having group come from National Action Network, led by Reverend Cassius Rudolph, and my daughter's in it, and others, Ashley, to meet with young students on the ground, on their campus, and talk about civic engagements, why they need to vote, what it means, what it doesn't mean, hear their questions, hear their situations, and go from there. And they came out, big numbers of students. Some had questions, some had concern. We call it the Ascend HBCU Tour. And you go on our website, find out when we're coming to college near you. I'm going to do 3 or 4 of the cities myself. I did Philly for the kickoff, and I think they go from here to Alabama, Mississippi. So I want to thank Dominique for filling in for me yesterday. Let me say there's so much happening. First of all, I could not resist starting with how some Republican senators are trying to talk President Trump down from invoking the Insurrection Act in Minneapolis. Now, he is trying to say that because there's been violence that they started, let's not forget that this man shot and killed an unarmed woman in her vehicle. There was no threat to her. The reaction has been mostly nonviolent for days, not any violence. His response to that was to send 1,000 more National Guard and ICE men in there. So they wanted the confrontation. That's why I keep saying to our activist friends, and we've been all over the phones with them, me personally and others on staff, Reverend DeVest Toon, our field director, don't bite the bait. They want that because he is talking about invoking the Insurrection Act. And a lot of Republican senators are trying to put the brakes on talk of invoking that act to quell angry protests. People have the right to protest, not the right to violence. And invoking the law, which was last updated in 1874, it would allow President Trump to mobilize active duty troops or federalized National Guard troops to the streets of Minneapolis amid growing civil unrest. And lawmakers are leery of the prospect of sending a wave of troops there. They really would put us in a really crazy place. I think they used it during Rodney King under Bush Sr. Other news, Canada agrees to cut tariff on Chinese EVs in return for lower tariffs on Canadian farm products. So, breaking with the United States, Canada has agreed to cut 100% tariff on Chinese electric cars. People saying around the world we can all play that game, Donald Trump. And then Trump accepted the Nobel Peace Prize medal from Venezuelan opposition leader Mercado, who made a gesture, gave her award since he was pouting like a little spoiled brat. She said, I'll share my award with him. And the Nobel Committee said, you can share all you want. He's not a Nobel winner. I mean, I think it's embarrassing to have a president that has what my mama used to call a hissy fit because he didn't win some award that he thought he should deserve. I don't think he deserved it, but whether he did or not. And she had to come like a nurse going to the children's ward and say, here, now you can have the award. Now, can you leave our country alone? Interesting. And, of course, the whole question of Greenland. Some Republicans in the Senate are vowing to block any effort by Trump to seize Greenland by military force as Trump aides have to deal with that. That on top of the continued protests and continued calling for justice. Some are saying abolish ICE in the Minneapolis situation. And the more the tape, they came out with more data from the tapes, how this young lady was bloodied, immobile when the emergency units got there, and unquestionably dead on the scene, shot in the head twice, and other shooting. I think that this is a moral issue. It's Martin Luther King weekend. Yesterday was his actual birthday, January 15th. We celebrate the federal holiday that we fought to get. It's the only federal holiday after Black. And in the spirit of Dr. King, there's a moral issue. It's immoral for a officer of the law to shoot an unarmed mother who had just dropped her child off at 6-year-old child off at school, went by to see what was going on with the ICE patrol, and ends up in a back and forth, and an ICE officer kills at point blank range. There's something wicked about people that defend that. There's something immoral about people that try to justify that. There's something inexcusable about people that call bad good and good bad. And we just have to be straight up about it. We're dealing with Ephesians 6. I'm a Baptist preacher. Wickedness in high places. Now, I know a lot of folks in the clergy don't want to contemporize the word. They want to quote it for thousands of years ago. But right now, this is wicked. And rather than say, well, this is wrong, and let the courts decide the guilt or innocence of the ICE agent and let him suffer the consequences, they're going to send in more ICE people that are harassing nonviolent protesters. This is unbelievable, unacceptable, and all that goes along with it. So let's talk about all of this and more. I also want you to talk about how you intend to deal with Martin Luther King weekend. What is the appropriate way, you think, to deal with Martin Luther King Day weekend? Certainly, it should not be a day off on Monday. It'll be a day on. Let me run down to you what we'll be doing all weekend. Let me take the break. I'll run down the schedule, and I'm going to the phones. 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton. Keeping it real. Exhale Friday. Be right back.
Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, National Action Network. She just came in here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
Do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited to turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you, and if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energy.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats with equal respect and admiration with every call, whether he agrees with you or not. And I'm not gonna throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot of people with big platforms like the Rev has who are afraid to talk to the people and who are afraid that the people will keep it real with them. And he never shies away from anything any of us want to talk to him about. And he doesn't shut you up. It's not a soundbite, it's a conversation. So I would like people in media to learn from this man who is carrying MLK's torch. Don't be afraid of people. Listen to them, respect them, and stand in God and stand in truth. Thank you, Nan. Thank you, Rev. Thank you, everybody who puts this together and sends it out across the world, because we need much more of it. Bless you.
Hey, what's up? They're doing, thank you. They're doing what's on your mind? Yeah. All right, then, we got a birthday this week. I got to talk about that.
Oh, no.
Happy birthday this weekend. And Carrie White's birthday, right?
Corey's birthday's today.
Yeah, and I got to tell Reverend Bird to read Daniel 5th chapter. I want him to read. And I'm ready. Got a message from today, so we'll be on the air in what? Half hour.
Or a half hour.
You should tune in to the WBLS 107.5 FM and National Impact and www.nationalnetwork.net. All right, I'm ready. Make sure you operate on time or I'll tell them how old you are. Many people cannot focus because they have not really come to terms with their calling and life purpose. In order to focus, you must also be clear on what you're focusing on. So if you're not clear on your purpose, if you're not clear on your life's calling, then focus on seeking that. Because if you just read the ways and roads you traveled that you didn't even choose, that were sort of just laid out for you by God, in that it's telling you, speaking to you about what your purpose is and what you were born to do and be. I learned the things that I didn't plan had to be planned by God, and God's plan was directed toward God's purpose in my life. And I focus on that. Not focus on what others do, not focus on how well they're doing or bad they're doing, but focus on whether I'm in line and aligned with what I'm supposed to be about. And in order to move straight ahead, you have to be focused on the path you're running on.
No just stand still. No just stand still. No just stand still. What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We gonna shine and the shade. Give me a papa God rain, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water.
I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're live this Exhale Friday. And we are taking your calls at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Ayatunde Garrett says, hello, Rev. I was at the convocation yesterday at Lincoln University. You gave the young people motivation. Great words spoken. I was in the front, but too many people around you when it was over. Yeah, I took a lot of pictures with the youngsters. I'm glad you felt they were inspired. They said so to me. We're going to do it all over the country, but I don't want them inspired. I want them involved. That's why we're signing them up. Jeffrey Gerard is saying he is hurting the Republican Party with all these things he's doing. Some party is saying we're not with this or trying to save They're behind. We can't get him out in the midterms, but we can make it hard. And I think we can get a lot of them out, and we can make it real hard for the rest. And you are absolutely right. Let me say by way of announcements, you don't want to miss Politics Nation this weekend. With all that's going on from Minneapolis to Greenland to what is going on in terms of the voting rights protections up, we are still in an unstable economy. Black folks are almost 8% unemployed. I've got some people at the top of each of these areas that's on this weekend. Over the weekend, I'm going to have on the former Attorney General, Eric Holder, to put in legal perspective. He headed the Justice Department. I'm going to have Senator Tina Smith of Minnesota, what's going on the ground. I'm going to have Minister Janae Imari on, what's going on the ground in Minnesota. I'm going to have Brandon Scott, Mayor of Baltimore, on how this is impacting people all over the country in terms of immigrants. I'm going to have the head of the Democrats in the Congress, Hakeem Jeffries, going to come in, and we're going to talk, as well as I'm going to have from his caucus Representative Angie Craig from Minnesota. And, of course, I'm going to have Martin Luther King III and Andrea Waters King, who are the bearing the King dream on this Martin Luther King weekend. So all weekend, both nights, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton on MS Now, formerly known as MSNBC. Now it's MS Now. You that are in the New York, Connecticut, New Jersey area, meet me in the morning at the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice. Of course, we are on 145th Street and Lenox Avenue, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. in the morning. And tomorrow, among other things, I'll be giving the message, but we're going to hear from this brother Kamar Samuels, the first big black appointment by Mayor Mondani. And Kamar will be speaking at the Saturday Action Rally in the morning before my message. He is the new chancellor of New York City Schools, the largest school district in the country. You're going to want to hear him and know what he feels and what he has to say. And then, of course, as I said, Saturday and Sunday, Politics Nation. Monday is King holiday. That's not a day off, it's a day on. We in National Action Network, this is our 35th year as an organization, and we've grown and can document our growth every year. And this year is no different. We celebrate King Day because we come in the tradition of Dr. King. And we fought to get the holiday. I marched. I went with James Brown to the White House, talked to Reagan about getting that holiday, and I was in my 20s. So our day starts 8 o'clock in Washington, D.C. Monday morning with the Martin Luther King breakfast of National Action Network. Martin Luther King III and Andrea Waters King co-chairs that breakfast with me. And among our honorees this year will be Eric Holder, the former Attorney General, will be Brandon Scott of Baltimore, Maryland's mayor, will be Sheila Johnson, black entrepreneur. Black woman owns more hotels than any in the country, including the one we're having the breakfast at, the Salamander. And she co-founded BET with her former husband, Bob Johnson. And we'll be honoring Donna Bazile, the political strategist, and others. Then we fly right back to New York at 1 o'clock sharp. We start the National Action Network King Day Policy Forum. Now, what do we do in the Policy Forum on the holiday? We ask everyone holding a major office in the city to explain to us, 5 minutes or less, what you've done since last King Day in the spirit of King. What legislation, what policy, what have you done? And we confirmed that we'll be there in person. Governor Hochul of New York will be there. Mayor Mandani will be there. State Attorney General Tish James will be there on Monday, starting 1 o'clock. U.S. Senator Schumer will be there. Congressman, soon to be Speaker if we vote, Hakeem Jeffries will be there. Senator Gillibrand will be there, and others. And each of them, we give them time to state on King Day. King Day is about policy. Why is Martin Luther King in history? He changed laws. He set policy. And that's what we want to do. I appreciate, respect all of the memorial services. But we want to deal with, are you changing policy? Are you instituting laws that protect us? That's what Dr. King was about. And I spoke last night at Riverside Church along with others about the memorializing Dr. King, and I'll do some of that this weekend. But Policy Day, be 1 o'clock at the House of Justice, 145th Street, Lenox Avenue. And you can put your name on the list. If we overflow, we go by the list. And you can call the toll-free number to put your name on the list, 1-877-626-4651, 1-877-626-4651, or you can go on our message page and our website and sign up for the King Day. All you have to do is go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. I'm old enough to remember when the Republicans said they would never have a day for Martin Luther King, and we made it happen. That's why all of these people that are talking pessimism and what we can't do don't understand our history. We always took the possible out of impossible. So Trump, to me, is just the next challenge. In fact, we fought people harder than that, more capable than this. So let us gear up our loins and use this holiday to re-energize and refuel us for the fight. Not to go to the mall and buy something on the King Day sale. All right, let's get ready to take a break, then I'll go straight to the phones. It is King Weekend, Exhale Friday, 1-877-532-5797, Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Rev, you know you were right there
From the beginning.
with the stuff that
Yep.
was going on in Brooklyn at that time, at Howard Beach. You were right there.
He had in one of the early movies, he had my name. Then he put me in Malcolm, but I wasn't even old enough to know Malcolm. So we've been through it all.
For those who see Malcolm X, it's 3 hours. But fast forward to the scene with yourself,
Yep.
Bobby Seale.
Right. Bobby Seale, Denzel, and me.
Yeah.
Denzel was on the set.
Now, let me ask a question.
Yep.
What was your weight on that scene?
Probably about 270. I was bigger then.
Yeah.
Still had the hair,
And
man.
you had the head on.
Yeah, it was.
Denzel,
Denzel.
yourself, and Bobby Seale.
Yeah, all in one scene.
And also, there was no cut. So we went like this.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Only Spike could have done that.
It's my brother right here.
My baby.
Brooklyn's in the house.
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn's in the house.
BK.
I thank God I was blessed to have both in my life. Both historic, strong figures. But if I misused them and listened to not only figures that are not as historic as them, but figures that had nothing to do with the calling and purpose of my life, I would live confused. I'd be double-minded. I'm clear. And what I want you to do is be clear. Clear on who you are and why you are. And a lot of that will be exposed to you and others by who you are around and who you allow to enter your head. Keep people at a distance that only have a distant and unclear vision of who you are and who you are supposed to be. They could be your blood relatives, but they could not be the ones that accompany you toward what you ought to be about tonight. Everybody good to you ain't good for you. Everybody that makes you laugh sometimes end up making you a joke.
This is the first Thanksgiving I'm here in New York. Over 20 years. I'm just glad to be here with Rev today and to hand out the food. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It's Erica Ford, the Peace Doctor in the building. Here at the National Action Network, it's about thanks. It's about giving. It's about gratitude. It's about love. I feel it is important for you to understand that there's work out here to be done, but it starts with gratitude, it starts with giving, it starts with peace, it starts with love. Let's go.
Before we feed our family, we got to make sure that we feed the community. That's right. That's what it's all about. We got to come with Sharpton phones. You come and you make sure you show up, serve the community. That's what it's all about.
Past hope, because I grew up, like I said, single mama on welfare. And my mother told me there's a part in life that hope's gonna run out. But she told me you got a double barrel in your engine. I said, what is that? She said, you can switch from hope to faith. Faith is a little deeper than hope. Bishop Hilly is here. Faith is when hope runs out. Faith is the substance of things. Hope for. The evidence of things not seen. Faith is when we were emancipated after 246 years of slavery and walked off the plantations with no education, no money, no future. And we built black churches and black colleges and black fraternities. We had faith. Faith made us stand up to the most powerful nation in the world and turn it around. Faith means we went from the back of the bus to the front of the White House. We've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in His holy word. He never failed us yet.
Hi, it's Reverend Al Sharpton, President and founder of National Action Network. We are at the very end of 2025, and I want to first say that I want to thank all of the officers, chapter leaders, regional directors, national staff, and certainly National Board of National Action Network for a solid and absolutely incredible year in 2025. Despite the fact that we are under assault, voting rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion, the battles globally where we're seeing Nigeria and Venezuela attacked, and on and on and on. We have been steadfast as an activist organization in the tradition of Dr. King. We started the year with a national call that thousands responded to, and we were in Washington on our side of town while Trump was being inaugurated on the other side of town. And we made a pledge. We told people to lift their hand and make the pledge. And we kept that pledge to work all year to keep the dream alive. And that led into when Trump went after DEI, we supported some that were boycotting, and we started boycotting, something that had never happened. We said we're gonna go buy from those that have committed to keep DEI and went in several cities around Costco's and Sharpton. We've now bought stock in other companies. We're going to shareholder meeting and demand they continue DEI. We've had a sensational National Action Network convention covering the span of activity, from political empowerment to education, to how we deal with the Black church, how we deal with the Black
Live, Raz.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. It's XL Friday. Let's load up these lines. Let's talk about it and load up the message board. We need to go out this weekend, Martin Luther King holiday weekend, on fire. And I think it's important that we do that. I'm looking at the message board. Arian Denise is saying that, Tanya, if I see people shouting at officers doing their officer's job, I take that as verbal abuse and intimidation of officers at law. And it may be, Tanya, Arlene, but does that justify killing somebody? Let me put it to you this way. If I see an officer being harassed, I would say that's wrong. If I see an officer have to react violently or even verbally to being harassed, he shouldn't be an officer or she shouldn't be an officer. The job calls for you being prepared to take care of unruly and uncouth people. That's part of the job. I remember I came uptown one day unannounced, the National Action Network's House of Justice. Decided I just want to stop by unannounced. And I come in and everybody, oh, Rev's here. And I asked the young lady, young sister behind the counter, how everything going? She said, well, Reverend, it's kind of rough. I said, what's wrong? She said, everybody that calls here, comes here, has got a problem. I said, well, where did you think you was applying for a job at? That's like somebody saying they work at the lawyer's office. Everybody in here that comes in here got a legal problem. That's what lawyers are in business for. Or everybody go to the doctor's office, got an illness. That's what doctors in business for. We're in business for the justice business. If we can do it or not do it, that's what we do. So officers should not sign up to be officers if somebody can provoke you to shoot somebody in the head while you're filming it with your smartphone. Don't take a genius to figure that out. Let's go to phones. Let's start today's calls as we started the week. Gives me great blessings over the weekend with my beloved friend in Chicago, the beloved Miss Eunice. Miss Eunice, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton on XL Friday.
Hi, Rep. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I'd just like to say happy Dr. King celebration, and God bless Reverend Jackson. Reverend, I find myself thinking back at Watergate when Nixon lied and denied, and when the tapes came out, the Republicans told him they could not support him any longer. Either he resigned or be prosecuted, so he stepped down. And I'd like to know, what does Trump have on these elected officials? Did they get together during the 4 years Biden was in office and help plan this 25 plan? It's strange to me. They are so silent, and also the Supreme Court. And I'm like Marvin Gaye. I'd like to know what's going on.
How?
And, Reverend, we have to keep on fighting. If they don't, we are doomed. Dr. King did not stop. We say we honor him. Let's show it by our deeds. And Dr. King said, I may not get there with you, but we as a people will get to the promised land. So let's come together, people, and do what we're supposed to do. Our future is at stake as well as our children. And one final thing, what kind of human being is this Caroline Levitt, the press secretary? She called Nicole Good a lunatic. She's a lunatic also for going along with this nonsense with Trump. And thank you for taking my call and continue to enjoy the King celebration.
All right. Thank you for your call and kicking us off. As always, I see democracy.fund is on the message board. Now, he knows he's hitting dear to my heart. Brian and his wife, by the way, was at the Philadelphia rally the other night. I was glad to see them and all of our Philadelphia, a lot of our Philadelphia WURD listeners. But he puts on the message board Nina Simone's song, Why? The King of Love is Dead. And the reason that touches me, I had went at 12 years old and joined Operation Breadbasket. And it was 1966. I'd become a big fan of Adam Clayton Powell. My mother brought me to Reverend William Jones, who brought me to Jesse Jackson. I joined Breadbasket in 66 into 67. Late 67, I became the youth director of the local chapter. And a couple of Saturday meetings, like I do Saturday rallies now, I missed. Dr. King got killed. And I started going back regularly. And not long after that, Nina Simone came out with that song. What we gonna do now the King of Love is dead? Turn the other cheek. I know the lyrics. Turn the other cheek, he'd plead. Love your neighbor was his creed. Tell me why was he killed in Memphis the other day? We better stop and see. We may be headed for the creek. What we gonna do now the King of Love was dead? And you couldn't tell me that Nina Simone wasn't singing to me. I remember I saw it in a movie that they came out with called From Montgomery to Memphis. And they used Nina's song as the track to that movie. And all these people was in the theater, the Lowe's Valencia Theater on Jamaica Avenue in Queens. It's before my father left. And I sat there and listened to her sing. And I thought she was on that stage singing to me. She wasn't even there. It was a part of the movie. There's about 100 people in the theater. So you hit a chord there with me on that one, Brian, because that song literally, I'd already been around the movement at Little Joint, but that locked me down. And I never turned back since. Let's go to Don in New Orleans, Louisiana. Don, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir. Yes, and Reverend Al, you know, you're well aware that the official King holiday started 40 years ago yesterday.
Yep.
January 15th, 1986.
Yep.
And Sister Mother Elder Claudette Colvin transitioned this week at the age of 86.
Yep.
So, and 40 years has passed, and Dr. King was assassinated at the age of 39. So what I'm saying is that that number 40, you know, the children of Israel, because they refused to cross over to the promised land, was in the wilderness for 40 years. But thank God for leadership, Reverend Al, during that 40 years since the King holiday became a federal holiday. Thank God for leadership for not leaving us on the other side of the Jordan. The leadership has brought us over.
Yeah.
Many rough roads down through the years. We take it for granted, and we talk about, oh, they ain't gonna do, politicians ain't gonna do nothing, and the vote don't matter. Most people don't vote because of their reading ability, Reverend Al, and many have a learning disability such as dyslexia. So we have to address issues as they come. But thank God for the leadership of a Reverend Jackson and many others who didn't pick up the mantle, but they lit their own torch and kept the light burning for us. And we thank them. We thank all of you all for the leadership, and those of us who try to do things on the ground, at the grassroots level, and to educate the young and to sit with the elders and learn and just to record the history and to keep it lit and keep the torch going, because there's going to be some trying times right now. Dr. King would say, you know, it's going to be some troubled days ahead. And so, but we got to keep the faith, and we got to keep pushing, and we got to keep moving, and we just got to keep encouraging each other. And that Sister Renee Good, to me, she was executed or assassinated. I don't take that lightly at all.
Well, I thank you for the
what they
call.
did
I
to
think that it
Yes,
is
sir.
absolutely worthy of the time of what you say, what we going to do. Absolutely. Let's go to Dully in Florida. Dully, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hey, it's not how you do, it's how you doing. It's Dooley, not Dully.
It's what?
I'm Dollar Bill's cousin.
Okay.
How you doing, Reb?
I'm doing well.
You know, I was alive when Martin Luther King was assassinated. I was a little boy, and I was kind of like you, a boy preacher, because I believe what they told me in the church. And he was talking about the Vietnam War.
Right.
Now we're getting ready to go to war with Iran, and the president haven't even consulted Congress. We went to war with Venezuela and conquered the sovereign head of state and his wife. Congress has not been consulted.
Right.
And we got all these checks and balances, but no checks on the balance, because this man is going to war without approval from Congress. And see, the trick is, because he's the commander-in-chief, he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants. And they can't do nothing. The Supreme Court already told him he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and he going to be covered as long as he's the president. So what you do with an egomaniacal, schizophrenic, geriatrically impaired buffoon that can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants?
Well, I think you're right. I think that anytime he has admittedly met with the oil CEOs, the CEOs of oil companies,
the Koch brothers,
and all of the oil companies, and had informed them before he went into Venezuela he was going in, and didn't inform the Congress. It's clear that this is about oil and making money. Anytime he meets with the opposition leader yesterday, who wanted to try and make an overture to him, giving him her Nobel Prize, and he still didn't come out saying that we should have democratic elections there, this woman run. This is about business. The question is whether we're going to sit back and let him get away with it. Let's take a break. Be right back. More Exhale Friday. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
One, two, three, I got the feeling. Hey, baby, baby, I got the feeling. Oh, I got that feeling, yeah. Hey, hey, got that feeling, y'all. Come on. Feeling, baby. Oh, I got the feeling, y'all. Can you put your hands together? I got the feeling. Oh, won't you say, baby, baby, I got that. Thank you so much. My name is True Osborne. Humbled and honored.
Knew love like this before.
humbled and grateful to be here with you tonight. I love you too. I love you too. It seems like I've known Reverend Al Sharpton all my life. My mom was such a fan of his, and I've seen him through my life in LA at MCA Records. When I was there, he'd come through, you know, and get those people straight about our contracts and talk about that. And I haven't been honored a lot. Maybe this is my second time, and I'm 68 years old. And I've been in this business my entire life. I've never done what you would call a real job. But I am truly honored, and I'm thankful, and I love us. I love my black people. And I fight for us, and I want the women, the black women, to really know their worth. Know that they're queens. That's important to me. That's how my mother raised me. My mother was militant, I guess, when it wasn't trendy, yes. Because when I was a little girl, my mother and father would drive in Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, do or die. And when she would see police officers handling black children or a black boy or a girl, she would have my father stop and say, she'd get out of the car and she'd say, "What's going on here? Wait a minute, what you doing?" All the time. So it's natural that I'm that way, because I'm so tired of seeing our black men beaten with handcuffs. They have handcuffs on. That's important to me. That's my fight. I want love in this world. We're living in some, I love you, I love you. I never knew love like this before. I can't sing because we just finished doing 3 shows back to back. And I flew in this morning, and because Reverend Al wanted me to sing home. There's no way I could sing home, but okay. When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home. I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. When that makes us tall grass bend into leaning, suddenly the raindrops that fall have a meaning. Sprinkling the sea makes it all clean. But thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I love you. I love you with my life.
Stephanie Mills.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're gonna have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago in Los Angeles, we marched.
I am your host,
later, with George
Reverend Al
Floyd
Sharpton.
and others, we still
It is
marching.
Exhale Friday, 1-877-532-5797. Let's go to the phones. Let me go to my buddy, the activist extraordinaire in Chicago, the one and only Pam. Pam, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hello, thank you, Reverend Sharpton, and please know that that title means a lot to me because I like to think that I just advocate, not for myself, but for others, and I put the collective, the black collective first before my needs, and I'm so okay with that because that's what Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King did, you do, Reverend Jackson, and many, many others, Malcolm X, Medgar Evers. Come on, I mean, we can go on and on.
Right.
So I only wish I had done more, and I'm going to try to do as much as I can. Reverend Sharpton, when I call, I hope I offer information to people to make them think and to make them want to act. So may I do this? Can I read to you quickly the characteristics of a rogue nation?
Please.
Is that okay?
Please.
So here we are, people. The characteristics of a rogue nation. 1, violates international law, systematically ignores treaties and international agreements. Threat to security, seen as dangerous to other nations or world peace. Authoritarian, governed by autocratic regimes with poor human rights records. Supports terrorism, may sponsor or harbor terrorist groups, WMD pursuit, develops or seeks weapons of mass destruction, and lastly, hostile to U.S. interests, often acts as an adversary to the United States or its allies. Now, if that doesn't fit the adjudicated sexual abuser and his unqualified cabinet to a T, I don't know what does. And I can go to, he's hostile to U.S. interests. That's
Right.
the people here,
Right.
right? We already have the weapons of mass destruction. We have nuclear capability.
Right.
And I don't know what day he's going to wake up and want to use it. Supports terrorism. Well, that's the KKK, Oath Keepers,
Right.
one percenters, every hate group. And I think it was just announced that I can't think of his name, but he's the leader of one of the hate groups. He is part of ICE. He's an ICE agent.
Wow.
So we know the. Yes, I can't. I'm sorry, I don't have his name for you, but people can look it up. Violates international law. See, we're all up and through this, as they say, Reverend Sharpton, and we are in the status of rogue nation, as far as I'm concerned. Reading these characteristics, we are there. Now, I'm not trying. Isn't that something? I just thought about, because I thought about it. We call everyone else a rogue nation. Guess what, people? That's us.
That's right.
So what are we prepared to do about it? I mean, what are we really prepared to do about it? Because, rogue nations don't have freedom. I hear people say politics, politics is local. Well, guess what? You don't have local politics in Russia with dictators.
That's right.
You just don't have it. So don't cry to me about politics being local, but you have someone stripping all of your local rights and states' rights when it comes to democratic states. So I'm just asking us to think as we celebrate Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, and his title of Reverend was most important to him. And I'm thinking, Reverend Sharpton, I don't know too many agnostics or atheists that have put their lives on the line to help free this country and this world and fight against oppression.
Right.
And the reason I bring that up, because people want to talk about our Christian leadership. They want to talk about spirituality. But that's all well and fine. I can name Christians who have put their lives on the line. But as I said, agnostics and atheists cannot do. And so I'm going to ask you this question, Reverend, and then I'll hang up. Because I had a discussion. I sent someone a text. I share information, your show. I share like Joy Reid and Roland Martin, black media, because I think they're hitting the mark. Stacey Abrams talking about the steps, when a dictator takes over. So this is my question to you as we honor Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And I want to make sure that we honor him in the right way. We can talk about volunteering, okay? That's one part of it, but that's not the end-all, be-all. And that's not all what he did. He worked to eradicate racism. He worked to make the lives better for his children, thus making the lives better for black people and the world. And we need to understand that clearly. I love hearing from his children who were denied the full legacy of their father because he was assassinated. So I love hearing from his children on this day. But we've got to make sure we don't let them relegate it to it's only about volunteering. Or what, it's got to be more than that, particularly in the midst of this anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion. So my question to you, Reverend Sharpton, going back, I had this exchange with someone, sent them some information. So they said, well, and I was surprised this person said this, well, I don't really, I pray about it and I leave everything to God. I really don't get into, the politics of it because, man is messy, that kind of message.
Well,
so
I think that the first thing, and
thank you.
I'm going to say this, and I'm going to elaborate on it in my message tomorrow, my King Weekend message at Saturday Action Rally, is first thing is that you are never challenged in the scriptures to leave everything to God. You're challenged in the scriptures to do something, and God would protect you. God didn't tell Moses on the mountain to just have a seat and I'll do what I'm going to do for you. He said, go back to Egypt and tell Pharaoh to let my people go. Now, for the person that wrote you that was a political act. He didn't tell Moses to go to the church and pray for the liberation. He said, go to Pharaoh, who was the political head of state, and tell Pharaoh, I sent you to let my people go. So anybody, and I've run into this throughout all my years in ministry, Pam, anybody that tells you that they are just in the word, well, what word are they in? Because the whole Bible is full of people fighting for liberation, the Jews going to the promised land, fighting against wickedness in high places, whether it was Nebuchadnezzar or Belshazzar or Herod in the days of Jesus. I mean, so you can't have the jump and shout and glory, glory part of the Bible and leave the majority of the Bible out. So to say I'm not getting involved in these things, well, then you're not involved in the work of God. Why do you think God put us here at this time and place if we were not supposed to deal with these things?
Well, you certainly gave me some references, Reverend Sharpton, so I took some notes. Thank you.
Well, thank
you.
you.
And then my last piece on that is because if you don't do the work, then that means you're relying on other people to do the work for you, and you just want to be the beneficiary.
That's right.
See, we want people to go out, march, get shot, sacrifice, die, get arrested, but you don't want to do it.
And
for whatever reason.
And the critical thing you said, the key thing you said, but they want to benefit from it. I can't tell you the amount of people, I couldn't count them, that have come to me and said, Reverend Al, I got my job when you jumped on that company. Reverend Al, I'm so glad that you straightened out this cop because they did something to my son. And I said, well, have you ever been to a rally? Have you ever supported us? Have you ever joined? Well, no. And you admit what we did benefited you. And you don't even have enough decency to support those that pay the price at our risk. I've been stabbed. I've been prosecuted. I've spent nights in jail for marching. It wasn't like this was joy. I got family like everybody else. It wasn't like this is no pleasure trip. But some of us believe in what we're doing. Others just sit back and wait to collect. And that's disgraceful.
Thank you. I just wanted to offer that, Reverend Sharpton. Thank you. Let's all please carry the legacy on and make sure Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King is remembered and celebrated in the correct way. Thank you, Reverend Sharpton.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's definitely take Pam's advice. Make King Weekend a weekend of commitment and rededication, not some frivolity and nonsense. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Keeping it real.
Keeping it real. Thing past home. Because, I grew up, like I said, single mama on welfare. And my mother told me there's a part in life that hope's gonna run out. But she told me you got a double barrel in your engine. I said, what is that? She said, you can switch from hope to faith. Faith is a little deeper than hope. Bishop Hilliard is here. Faith is when hope runs out. Faith is the substance of things. Hope for the evidence of things not seen. Faith is when we were emancipated after 246 years of slavery and walked off the plantations with no education, no money, no future. And we built black churches and black colleges and black fraternities. We had faith. Faith made us stand up to the most powerful nation in the world and turn it around. Faith means we went from the back of the bus to the front of the White House. We come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in His holy word. He never failed us yet.
Come on.
our ministry to entertainment. Or who can hoop the loudest? Who can run around the pulpit more? Or who got the dresses fancy and don't deal with the ministry? Jesus healed more people than he preached to. Because there is in the healing your message. They followed Jesus because he healed a woman with the issue of blood. They followed Jesus because Jesus saw a blind man named Bartimaeus. A lot of us would have dismissed him because he was a broke, poor, homeless, a blind man. How you know he was broke, Reverend? Because they say he was begging. But he understood what he was doing because he heard that Jesus was passing by. And when Jesus got close enough, he said, Jesus, son of David, come see about me. They kept telling Jesus, let's go, we got a schedule, we got people to see. He said it again, Jesus, son of David, come see about me. And when he did it the third time, Jesus stopped and went and healed the blind man. Now, what I get out of that scripture, Bishop Daughtry, is that the blind man told Jesus, if you are who you say you are, you're going to stop and see me. Yes, sir. And if you stop and see me, you will confirm who you are. Yeah. But when we are pastoring and leading in communities with bad health, we cannot be the followers and representatives of Jesus and walk by people that are sick and we not be part of making them well.
That I want to end. He talked about the dry bones in the valley. I'll tell you that. The only reason that the wind could blow life into the bones is because at some point they had to be connected. If the wind had blown into a disconnected body, it still wouldn't have worked. So before he prophesied to the wind, they had to first get the foot bone to connect to the ankle bone, and the ankle bone to the calf bone, and to the knee bone, and the knee bone to the thigh bone. If we are to prophesy to the wind, we must first connect this body. We must connect Eddie Long to Farrakhan and Cornel West to Elders and Lowry to Sharpton. If we can connect this body, then God will blow the breath of life into our community. But as long as we are disconnected, the wind can't blow because it's blowing on disconnected dry bones. But the good news is that we're the children of people that have been through worse than this, and we're still here. So even though I get despondent, I don't ever get depressed, because I want the world to know you won't beat us, because we're the children of those that took the worst form of slavery and brutality that ever lived, that ever existed. Our parents survived the Middle Passage. Only the strong got here, and then we lost our name, our culture, our religion, and we're still here. But you don't know who we are. We're the children of Chaka Zulu. We're the children of Mary McLeod Bethune. We're the children of Marcus Garvey. We're the children of Martin Luther King. We'll be here. We were first and we'll be last. We know who we are.
Stop going through your life like you are a co-star or a bit player in your own drama. No, you are the main star. You're the central figure in your life. What you decide is what is the major thrust of your life. And others may contribute, impact, affect, but it's your life that you're central in. So stop trying to lay the weight of what you do or don't do on others. That weight is squarely on your shoulders and in your hand. And if you want to defer and give your life choices to others, that's on you. If they have any sense at all, they will be so busy trying to conduct and properly guide their life, they will not have time to try to major in your life.
in London, yeah. We've got many problems there. We need you over our side. Yeah, you're invited anytime, please. Whenever you want to come.
There we go.
Guys! What's up, Doc?
So we are in not a political dilemma, we are in a moral dilemma. And if the black church does not come with a prophetic voice, then who's gonna do it? We can go through all the data, all the statistics, all we're going through in the workshops, but the question is, where is the action gonna be? We all believe in Jesus. Jesus didn't teach theology, he healed people. And they learned the nature of the theology based on his healing. We got to heal this nation. And if we heal this nation, the nation will return to our churches. But we've become silent and compromised. And we try to blame it on, I'm not in this. You are in this. You live it, your members live it. Unemployment now is higher now than it's been since the pandemic. Yet we survive. There's no history in the world of any people that went through.
Keeping it real.
And physical slavery.
I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. This XL Friday, 1-877-532-5797. Or go to the message board at www.nationalactionnetwork.net and give me a message. Evangelist Ramsey is on the message board. Now, she's a true, authenticated activist extraordinaire in New York. She says, good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton and Nan family and supporters. Love conquers all along with lack of integrity. It's a dirty, low-down shame. She says, Pam, you are Jewel. Last speaker, she is right. Many followers in the church and out want us to do all the work, and they reap the blood, sweat, and tears from our backs. My anointing and oil cost me. Get your own. In other words, we need the wind to blow into the dry bones to connect us together so we are just dysfunctional jumpers, shooters, and I love it. That's great. Let's go to Jerry in Mississippi. Jerry, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
I just want to thank Dr. King for all his services that he did. I want to thank you, Reverend Sharpton, for what you're carrying on as you are. What my point is today, Reverend Sharpton, you don't turn your lights on. You don't cut your house lights on and then close your eyes. You cut your lights on to see. A young man here in Liberty, Mississippi, was on trial on this past week, and he ran over a 10-year-old boy and killed this boy. And the jury freed him, no charge. He had drugs in his truck. He had drugs in his system. But they freed him and let him go free. Now he was a 10-year-old black boy and a 30-year-old white guy that ran over and killed this boy.
And wait a minute, the courts established he had drugs and he killed this boy, and they said no charges. Who did this, the grand jury or regular jury?
Regular jury. The regular jury, Reverend Sharpton.
Wow. And what part of Mississippi is this in?
Liberty, Mississippi. Liberty, Mississippi.
Wow. I heard nothing about this. Hold on a minute. Y'all pick up and get his number. I want somebody to check this out. That can't be right. We need to get with the family. They need to see if there's any legal recourse here. Get that and get that straight to me. Thank you for calling, Jerry. That's terrible. That's a threat to all the kids there. That's a threat to anybody. You cannot let that go unaddressed. All right, let me go to Tommy in Chicago, Illinois. Brother Tommy, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Well, present afternoon to you, Reverend Sharpton, and especially to all of those in your listening audience. You know, I am always aghast and amazed when individuals delve into the Word of God. It's just like, forget the fact that he said it wasn't the many, it's the few. And so for such a time as this, I thank God that you have been a watchman. And for all of us right now, especially those who don't believe, exactly what they're seeing and witnessing. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up, and there are no more excuses. There just simply is not. Name calling and rhetorical conversation about the same thing is pitiful, because this is the moment when grown folks come to the table. This is the moment when individuals with tried, true credentials of how and what we do next are to be listened to. I promise you, Rev, if you heard what is going on here in Chicago, Lou Palmer said it's enough to turn a Negro black. Because it is a sad, sad situation, Rev, that as a nation of people, just based upon the facts, the fact of the matter is that everything that has happened to a black person in America is illegal. We came here illegally. We've been denied illegally the commonwealth of a country that we live in. And more importantly than that, ain't nobody came from no continent looking for us, because they didn't have an army, they didn't have a navy, and sadly to say, somebody led them through it. Now here's a moment in the time for individuals to grasp on and say, thank you for all those who paved the way that we could have a moment such as this and platforms like this. And there is no more excuses, none. Not for a black person, and especially not for any of these people running around here calling themselves patriots or they love this country. I have served this country, and to all my brothers who are over there, we told you this, and you spit on us. And here we are now in this place that we call home because we don't have any place else to go. Just like when the storm raged down south, and the lady said, I didn't have any place else to go, and she stayed put. And by the grace of her faith and the one that she believes in, the storm howled and blew, but her place still stood. And it's a moment for those who believe in humanity. Because the day we sit back and allow men to take the rights from women, completely ignoring Mamie Tillman saying what happened to one of us ought to be the concern of all of us. And here we are at this point right now. We ain't got to go back and forth about nothing. Because this is no scare tactic, and this is a fact. Because this is the vote of our lives. Every last stinking one of us. And we have someone like you who dares to come on the airways and let anybody say whatever and try to make it clear all the way back to the Koch brothers. This ain't passion and emotion. This is reality. My uncle, as I close, he was a Red Ball Express driver. I didn't know it. His brother was in World War I. He slept on his bed with a German Luger, and he would holler and scream at night, and sisters would go in there and say, you're at home. You're at home. I didn't know it.
I was an ignorant black individual in the city of Chicago, running around acting like a fool until I got to notice that Uncle Sam wanted me. So here I am, descendant of all of that mess, to tell any and everybody I live in the greatest city on the face of the earth, and I've had the opportunity to be amongst the greatest living individuals today, such as yourself, and I've patterned my life, and I can tell you it works. So insurance is for your family, and insurance is for you idiots that ain't got enough sense to embrace the reality. And Tommy asks, how damn dumb can you be? And goodbye.
All right, Tommy, thank you for your call and your message. Tommy gets emotional because it's an emotional thing. We are in a very serious time, and it's not getting serious. You're already there. I was talking to some fellas last night after getting back in the city, and I went and spoke at Riverside Church, and I hooked up with some people for a little business meeting. And I was saying to them, are y'all delusional, or are y'all acting as though where we are, we're not there? Anytime you can shoot an unarmed white woman who just dropped a 6-year-old kid off to school and rode by to see what was going on because she was opposed to what was going on in the neighborhood around the ICE people just going in people's randomly going after people. And she ended up dead, unarmed, by a ICE agent that had a smartphone in one hand and his gun in the other, taping himself with this woman. And and the President of the United States calls the woman who had no gun, made no move, calls her a terrorist. And acts like the man's hero. Anytime you're in that kind of climate, you are not on your way. You are there. And we better wake up and smell the coffee or the tea or whatever you drink. Because just because you don't want to fight don't mean they're not going to fight you. And you're going to look up and it's going to be your family. Your son, your daughter, your grandkid. Let's take a break. Be right back. Exhale Friday, 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
Keeping it real. Diabetes.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there. And act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're gonna have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm going to keep marching. I'm going to keep agitating. And I'm going to keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time. Mariah, Chris, and your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again. Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight, they did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich Newt Dennis, said, I don't care, my families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we are. Give a big hand to Rich Newt Dennis for bringing us back. Is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We will organize our house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. Don't you give up now. Don't you turn back now. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Global Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, it's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are. Because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you. Keep the dream alive on Wall Street. No justice, no justice, no justice. What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters.
watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, both Saturday and Sunday. That's tomorrow and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to have among my guests the senators from Minnesota talking about what's going on the ground, this continued fight around justice for Miss Good and the others now. They're shooting. They put in 1,000 troops there. I'm going to have the senators on, Tina Smith and others. I'm going to have Eric Holder on, the former Attorney General of the United States, to deal with the law. I'm going to have Brandon Scott, the mayor of Baltimore, on, talk about how he brought down gun violence and how the whole impasse with ICE affects cities like his in Baltimore. Just everybody. And, of course, it's King Weekend, and we'll have Martin Luther King III and Andrea Waters King, Dr. King's son and namesake, and his wife, on to talk about how we should be dealing with the King holiday that his mother led the fight for and what we are dealing with today. By way of announcements, don't forget tomorrow morning, you in the New York area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in Harlem, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And we'll have the newly announced School's Chancellor, Kamar Samuels, be there to speak. School Chancellor is Ian, the young brother who is the head of the largest school system in the country. And then, of course, we will be on Saturday night and Sunday night, 5 o'clock. Then Sunday is, then Monday, I should say. Monday is the legal holiday we fought for. There are those that want to make it the last federal holiday of Dr. King, so make sure you come out. National Action Network, which will be celebrating its 35th year in existence, will start in Washington, D.C., as we have for the last several decades, with our Martin Luther King breakfast, and we honoring there. Eric Holder is going to be honored, former Attorney General, and for the stuff he did from Civil Rights Division on in the Justice Department. Mayor Brandon Scott be honored, and they'll be there. Both of them will be there. Mayor of Baltimore, and how he brought violence down. The Sheila Johnson, who is the black woman who owns more hotels and built real estate than any black woman in the country. In fact, the breakfast is at her hotel, so Salamander. And she'll be honored. Donna Brazile will be honored, the political strategist. Make sure, though, don't just show up. Call in and make sure you're on the list, because we're going to go by the list. Then we go back to New York, fly right back. 1 p.m. is the Martin Luther King Day Public Policy Forum, where we ask elected officials to come and give their report on what they have done since the last King holiday, January 24. Governor Hochul of New York has confirmed she'll be there. Mayor Mandani will be there, giving his report. Senator Schumer, Congressman, soon-to-be Speaker, if we vote right, Hakeem Jeffries will be there. And Tish James, the Attorney General, will be there of the state of New York. On and on and on. Call now. People always come, oh, Ramel, I had to wait outside, because you didn't call and put your name on the list. Make sure you do that. 1-877-626-4651, 1-877-626-4651, or go online to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and sign up online for whatever session it is that you want. While you're there, I'm telling you now, history will be made. April 8th through the 11th, be the National Action Network Convention right here in New York. April 8th through the 11th, right here at the Sheraton Times Square. And this, with the midterm elections up, getting ready for 28, we have the best and the brightest. Any of you that have been to our conventions know I only get the best, the brightest. People have something to say, Yes, a lot of them are well known, but you got to be more than famous to come to our convention. You got to have a plan and lay it out to the public. And we are packed every year. And you need to put your name on the list now. Say, Reverend Al, I'll be there one day. I'll be there 2 days. I'll be there the whole 4, but put me down so that I'm on the list when the ballrooms overflow. I can get in because I'm listed. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net, sign up for the convention, or you can call the toll-free number 1-877-626-4651. And I know a lot of our chapters around the country are planning bringing in busloads for the convention. Sign up. All right, let's go to my friend in Chevy Chase, Maryland, Miss Richardson. Miss Richardson, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, good afternoon, Reverend Al.
Good afternoon.
Yes, we should also keep in tab with and give her props. That's the great Fannie Lou Hamer.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, because I don't think she gets her credit too much, from us, and we should really kind of look at the people that really fought for us. I mean, that woman physically gave up her own anatomy. She's a woman, and these white racist cops put her in jail and beat her and things like that. So, it's sad that even the Voters' Rights Act rep, can this man overturn that? Because in my opinion, we should be first-class citizens because I know some of the great people that left us, Jackie Robinson, and the other man in the early 1900s, was it?
Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, Jackie Robinson. And what was the other one, the great, in the early 1900s, the other guy that fought him and his wife, and the Dred Scott person.
Oh, that Dred Scott was in the 1800s. You talking about Plessy versus Ferguson in 1890?
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. So Dred Scott was in the 1800s, right?
Right. I believe 1857.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because, see, they said, and they laughed at him. These white supremacists. The colonists laughed at him. He said, we should be first-class citizens. We're human beings. And Jackie was for us being first. These two people fought. And, Jackie had to deal with that man, that white McCarthy, or whatever his name was, right?
Yeah.
So, and a lot of blacks thought that Jackie was, becoming too close to McCarthy, but Jackie was not. He was trying to get McCarthy to see that to change something or to talk to the Congress or something, because that thing is still, the claw is still there, treated human, and I get scared that this idiot in the White House. See, now, do you notice, Mrs. Richardson, if you listen, the callers listen to me, I never call him, the president. I never say it because he's a jerk and he doesn't render that status of being I never call him President Trump, but a lot of blacks will call here, President Trump this and to me, he's I can't say that, but I'm talking about. He's just not president material. He's a CEO of apartment buildings in New York, resorts and everything, buildings with his name on it that he took forcefully, and nobody was able to stop him. Like the one in Washington. Red, doesn't he have in the old post office somewhere his name is where they made a Trump Towers or something in Washington down on Pennsylvania Avenue?
Yeah, he had a hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue. I know he has a Trump Towers in New York. He had one in Chicago. Everywhere he goes, he put his name there. He's very he's very insecure. Got to see his name all over the place.
Yeah. and he's just doing it for. Now he's taking this woman. I don't know. To me, she had no backbone. She should not have given him that Nobel Peace Prize. See, because he's a taker. This man is full of greed, and he's helping the rich get richer, and nobody talks about it. I think our people need to come out and talk about why don't these people should be paying their fair share taxes, which they're not. Trump is giving them more benefits, more money going back into their pockets, and he's taking the taxes where they don't have to pay taxes, is what this idiot in the White House is doing, and he's letting all of us be like, you know what I'm saying, to be like the little peanuts of the earth, little peasants that have to look up to him and kiss his feet. This is sad, and I don't understand the three branches of the federal government. And I'll get off, and I'm saying, Rev, I think you would agree with me. The three branches of the government that's allowing him to do all this, they have no backbone. I think it's sad, but I'd like to get your reaction.
Yeah, well, I
love
love you. Let's take a break. I'll give you my reaction on the other side of the break. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me, and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you're very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
Racial discord, a blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored. And I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
We have a short visit today, so we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses.
Sir, it's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you
you.
been?
Doing fine. Good.
Last time, and we
Alexander Shaw. How many slaves were staying there?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have a slave.
Yeah, that's what exactly. That was exactly. The two people that most influenced my life were from South Carolina, James and Jesse. Jesse right up the road with me.
I went over his mother's funeral. Jesse walked me to my mother's casket.
Wow.
To South Carolina. That's the balance of my life, James.
Yeah.
Civil rights, shoulders.
But also where your people from too.
Literally.
Yeah, right.
And when I knew Jesse was from James, I started Brother.
Yeah.
And James had died before I knew about it in South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah. James died December 25th. He died Christmas Day, 06. And they came to do the story for February of 07. They came to me in January. His daughter swear that was his daddy and him pushing the information out.
Wow.
And I called Jesse and told him, do you know that my great-grandfather was a slave about 45, because Greenville right up to I-20. He said, I told you we was connected. That's why you got to listen to me. But
Thank God I was blessed to have both in my life. Both historic, strong figures. But if I misused them and listened to not only figures that are not as historic as them, but figures that had nothing to do with the calling and purpose of my life, I would live confused. I'd be double-minded. I'm clear. And what I want you to do is be clear. Clear on who you are, why you are. And a lot of that will be exposed to you and others by who you are around and who you allow to enter your head. Keep people at a distance that only have a distant and unclear vision of who you are and who you are supposed to be. They could be your blood relatives, but they could not be the ones that come.
Keeping it real! Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or you can go to our message page to nationalactionnetwork.net, nationalactionnetwork.net, and go to live stream and put in a message. I see the mayor, Rodney Jones, mayor of Queensbridge Houses in New York, saying like a dull knife that just can't cut it, talking loud and saying nothing. That's a James Brown song. Yes, sir. I love that song. That's one of the many songs I love by James Brown. And I think that it is appropriate to say that a lot of that is going on right now. Talking loud, saying nothing. And we got to stop people from listening to it and thinking it's the truth. All right, it's Exhale Friday. I'm joined as I am every Friday for the last hour of the show by the senior pastor of the historic King Solomon Baptist Church of Detroit, Michigan, and head of national expansion and Michigan state chair of the National Action Network, the Reverend Charles Williams II. How you doing, Reverend?
All is well, and Rev, it's always good to be with you on yet another Exhale Friday. As a matter of fact, this is the Exhale Friday right before King Day, and I heard you talking about talking loud, you and Rodney talking about talking loud and saying nothing, and I was thinking to myself, I don't know karate, but I know crazy. Crazy for justice and peace, power, and prosperity. You know, Dr. King gave his life, and really at a young age, really young age, especially, the older I get every year, as I surpass the age that Dr. King was when he passed away, the more and more I realize how young he really is, because I'm still young in many ways, in many cases. And it's just it would be a disservice to any of us to celebrate Dr. King days with our talking, with our with our panels, with our brunches, with our lunches, with our dinners, and everything else that go along with that, candlelight vigils and celebrations, without actually making a commitment, a resolution, almost like the Rosa resolution that you reminded us that we ought to take when you funeralized and eulogized Rosa Parks. You know, that's the kind of resolution, that's the kind of work ethic, that's the kind of commitment we got to have. And so as I exhale this Friday, I exhale with hopefully a spirit of recommitment as we prepare to go into Dr. King's weekend. So join us and make sure you decide to make that commitment in New York and DC and Detroit, all over the country. There'll be Martin Luther King programs. Join us, but not just join us for the event. Join us for the movement.
All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Keith in Atlanta, Georgia. Keith, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and Williams.
Good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton.
Good afternoon.
And to your guest, how are you? All right, all right. I just want to talk on some subjects. His birthday is coming up, Dr. Martin Luther King, and some subjects right now at hand that has a lot to do with him. Of course, you know, he was over the Civil Rights Bill as well as the Voting Rights Act back here in '64. And the thing about it for me is, right now, Trump has said out of his own two lips that the Civil Rights Act was wrong because white folks got a raw deal out of that. And we also know he's trying to cut out our votes with Voting Rights Act as well as gerrymandering. We're not going to forget that part of it. And then the other part is gentrification. We know what's going on behind gentrification. My point is, the point I'm trying to make is, these people that voted for Trump, I want to know how they feel about it right now, especially with this thing with the Civil Rights Act. Because my thing is about the Civil Rights Act is, only other thing there is out there is Jim Crow. So what are you saying? You're saying that you want to go back to Jim Crow. I'm not going back.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So what else is there out there other than Jim Crow?
Yeah, 'cause I'm not going back. I'm with you. I'm not going
back.
Right,
exactly. That's my whole point. So those four things to me are far important when it comes to Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. That being said, also, I heard on your commercial, Trump's got a health care plan getting ready to come out. I already know it's going to be crazy. It's going to be just like that big, beautiful bill he got.
Right, right.
And the other thing I want to discuss with you was the Chad O. Jackson thing. This guy that's talking about King wanted socialism, and he was a socialist, he was a Marxist, right? My thing about that is, and I've been to college, so I know. First of all, there are no peer-reviewed articles from any professional authors on the subject of him being a socialist or a Marxist. If I don't see a peer-reviewed article, I'm not going to read it. I'm sorry. It means nothing to me. Because it sounds like to me, you're just trying to make a name for yourself. You're just trying to put your name out there. And that's what that is. You know, so that's the bottom line on that.
Yeah, well, I think that you're right. Not only if you don't see it in the peer review, you can read Dr. King's own books. He wrote Strength to Love. He wrote Why We Can't Wait. He wrote Stride to Freedom. He wrote Why We Can't Wait, Chaos of Community, his last book. So he said clearly what he believed in and what he stood for. So you can disagree with someone all you want, but don't try to tell somebody who they are when they've already told you who they are. Now, disagree with what they said they are, but don't disagree and try to redefine them when that's already been defined.
Exactly. Well, to me, too, he's knocking him down. The man was assassinated.
Right.
Years before you were even born.
Right.
What he did for you and your future. But now you ready to knock him down for doing it. And I don't mean no harm in this capitalist country that we live in. Yeah, it's capitalist. I love capitalism. Don't get me wrong. But when greed and selfishness steps in place of that capitalism, we got a problem.
Right.
And that's what we're dealing with this administration right now. You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So we can't just sit up here and turn a blind eye to that either. You take 1.8 trillion from healthcare. What? What is that? You see what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with that. Got one last thing, and I'll listen to your points of view on all my subjects, and I appreciate your giving me the chance to speak. I'm going to say this. Jesus Christ speaks about the least of these in Matthew 25:40, and again in 25:45 in the context of caring for others. Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me.
That's right.
And I'm the guy that was supposed to go with you when you were going to go to these college campuses. I don't know if you remember that. I was trying to.
I just did a campus yesterday, so I certainly don't remember. We go out all the time, but thank you for your call.
Yes, sir.
And let me say this. I'm reading Happiness Donuts is saying Ludacris and Nelly will perform at MAGA tour. Didn't expect Ludacris. Yeah, I heard that. I got to confirm that. But thank you for your call, brother.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to James in Atlanta, WAOK. Y'all got to check the facts on that.
What'd you say, Rev?
I said let's go to James in Atlanta. I got to check the facts.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, James.
Yes, Reverend Sharpton. Ms. Williams. You know, I had a couple of points, but may I touch on what Pam was talking about? I caught the tail end of what she was reading the definition of rogue nation. Is that correct?
She was what?
She was describing what a rogue nation was. That what she was?
Yes, rogue nation.
About?
She was reading something that defined rogue nation. Yes.
I agree with that because now, you know, our allies are moving away from us, and we are possibly becoming really isolated in the world. You know, it was announced this week that some of our allies, our NATO allies, are moving some of their troops to the Greenland area to defend against we, the United States. So yes, I agree with that. And the 2 points I really want to make is that, you know, when we see that the ICE agents, if you notice their uniforms, they have not placed on their uniforms police, and under that they put ICE.
Right.
Some of them are now wearing blue uniforms.
Right.
So they're conflating the two: ICE custom enforcement, ICE agents, and police officers. Police officers really protect and serve, and, you know, investigate crimes, solve crimes. So I'm wondering, will this endanger our real police officers, in which people may become enraged at them and really take our frustrations and anger on our real police officers?
It's very, very possible. Very possible. And I have noticed they've changed the outer garments. It's very possible. But thank you for your call. Let me stay in Atlanta, go to Northwest Atlanta. My dear friend in Atlanta, Sister D, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton and Charles Williams on Exhale Friday.
Reverend Williams and Reverend Al, thank you so much for taking my call. Reverend Al, we're all excited about the King holiday here in Atlanta. You know, this was his birthplace, and next time you come to town, I live in Collier Heights, an old Atlanta neighborhood, black neighborhood built by blacks for blacks. And Reverend King, Daddy King, lives around the corner from me. And next time you come to town, I'm going to show you where Daddy King lives. We can go to the birth.
Hold on 1 minute. I want to hear this. Hold on a minute. Let me take the break. Come right back to you, Sister D. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton Williams. Be right back. I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors. But there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talent in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones. And too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they gotta open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughters started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself. And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach Black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking
out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes blacks. We want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight with the courts and the streets, because they are literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunity, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, which they did DEI, started at Harvard with a black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And they went from there on. And I think that we've got to have the same resistance. If they could fight in the 50s, the ACP would have been together and deal with the question from Little Rock in terms of desegregation. Then we that are far more educated, far more economically secure personally, have no excuse in the age of what they did in Harvard not to be standing up back in this. Oh, do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited to turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you, and if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized.
Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, National Action Network. He just came here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
Sharpton. Reverend Charles Williams is our co-host. Go ahead, Sister D. We're talking to Sister D in Atlanta.
Yes, Reverend Al. I began by reflecting that Atlanta was Dr. King's home and that he was always a part of our community, the black community, and he never moved far from it. The house where he and Coretta raised the children is in the black community. Daddy King lived in Collier Heights around the corner from me. And then when you go to the National Historic King site, it's there on Sweet Auburn, where he and his sister and his brother were born. So we are very proud of Dr. King. I want, and next time you come to Atlanta, let me give you a tour.
I'd love
I would
that.
be happy.
I'd love
I
that.
would love to do that. I would like to. Average Americans are going about their lives just trying to exist, but they know that something is wrong, and with Trump and this administration. We all used to hear about Bush's brain, this guy named Karl Rove, who kind of ran the Bush administration. I want your listeners to Google, to check out, to look up Stephen Miller, who is the guy, the person who is influencing Donald Trump.
Right.
And he is a very evil being who really and truly what he wants is to get rid of as many black and brown people in this country as he can. He's been a bigot all his life, and that's the person who is in Donald Trump's ear. Thank you for letting me get that off my chest, Rev.
Thank you for calling. Always good to hear your voice. Let's go to Mitchell in Cleveland, Ohio, WERE. Mitchell, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and Williams.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
I am pretty good. I'm kind of surprised I got through to you. Just wanted to give you a quick synopsis that my father used to listen to you from the time you got on the radio, I believe.
Is that right?
And, He passed in 2020, and I picked up when he left off.
Wow, that's wonderful.
The interesting thing about it is, I just wanted to say something quickly. I'm not a real political person. I'm a theocratic person in a sense. I believe that, the Creator has a purpose. The lady that just came off the phone, she mentioned Stephen Miller, and, I go beyond that. I go to the devil himself, the father of the lie. And so when you see all these things going on today, I really look forward to the time when it will be done away with. And, I thought about Proverbs 14:30, where was the first thought when I heard Tommy today. And, sometimes I think all of your listeners are probably a little upset, and you get that lack of calm in your heart. Well, the life of the fleshly organism is a calm heart. It's the life of the fleshly organism being calm, not being overly agitated. Well, we're overly agitated. And so it takes a little life out of people, not just literal, but figurative. And so that also turns into the literal. So I just wanted to say that I appreciate what you do. A lot of things I'd like to say to you, a lot of things I'd like to, unpack, but it's just not possible at the moment. But I do believe, things like Daniel 2:44, Revelation 16 talks about Armageddon. I believe that wickedness and righteousness, that's all that really exists. And people that are inclined toward right, they're going to try to do right. People that are not, they're going to go the opposite way.
Right.
And so it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, And I just wanted to say that.
All right, I appreciate the call and appreciate the memory of your father. Thank you very much for calling. And Reverend Williams, I believe in the scripture, and I believe he's correct about calmness, but I also believe that we must act, do the work. Jesus went and turned over the tables of the money changers in the temple, which was an activist act. So I think that a lot of us, and I'm not saying this caller said that at all, he didn't, but I'm saying a lot of people think that religion handicaps you or handcuffs you from action. The opposite is true. Jesus with the money changers, Paul and Silas standing up when they knew that they would be in prison. Go all the way to the Old Testament, David fought Goliath. He didn't anoint him. So, I think a lot of us like to come in the name of those in the scripture, but don't want to do what they did in our time. If I was in the time of Pharaoh, if you were in the time of Nebuchadnezzar, someone else in the time of Belshazzar, the question is whether we would be with the 3 Hebrew boys or Moses or Daniel. Well, I believe in the judgment you're going to have to answer. You in the time of Trump, what did you do? Well, I prayed and asked you to bring me through, Lord. Yeah, but what did you do? Well, I believed in you. Yes, but what did you do? Faith without works is a dead thing. That's what I believe. Rem Williams.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, look, if we want to try to have this nice, cuddly, kind, sweet baby Jesus as our Savior, who will make everything easy for us. Oh, by the way, I think is a real big problem. I mean, I know you've probably been seeing it, and folks been seeing it all over the airwaves. The actor and internet personality, social media personality, Drewski, had a parody skit of megachurch leaders who kind of have pushed that same theology. It's totally antithetical to what we folks who are followers of Christ really are engaged in. I mean, I'm like you. You know, the bottom line is this: Dr. King, he protested, he demonstrated, he worked on policy, tried to make the world a better place, fairness, justice, equity, inclusion, all of the things that we still fight for today. And that is the same line that he has ascertained from his Christian faith. While I see Dr. King, I also see Jesus standing on the outside of the temples, by the way, with a crowd, making a scene, talking against, in many cases, the emperor and the Holy Roman Empire itself, while at the same time feeding folks, clothing folks, and healing folks. And so
let's take a break. Be right back. That's right. That'll preach what you just said there, Rem Williams. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton Williams. Be right back. Hi, it's Reverend Al Sharpton, President and founder of National Action Network. We are at the very end of 2025, and I want to first say that I want to thank all of the officers, chapter leaders, regional directors, national staff, and certainly National Board of National Action Network for a solid and absolutely incredible year in 2025. Despite the fact that we are under assault, voting rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion, the battles globally where we're seeing Nigeria and Venezuela attacked, and on and on and on. We have been steadfast as an activist organization in the tradition of Dr. King. We started the year with a national call that thousands responded to, and we were in Washington on our side of town while Trump was being inaugurated on the other side of town. And we made a pledge. We told people to lift their hand and make the pledge. And we kept that pledge to work all year to keep the dream alive. And that led into when Trump went after DEI. We supported some that were boycotting, and we started boycotting, something that had never happened. We said we're going to go buy from those that have committed to keep DEI. And went in several cities around Costco's and Sharpton. We've now bought stock in other companies. We're going to shareholder meeting and demand they continue DEI. We've had a sensational National Action Network convention covering the span of activity, from political empowerment to education, to how we deal with the black church, how we deal with black women development that has to deal with both discrimination
based on gender and race. And of course, we came to Wall Street by the thousands and marched in late summer on the anniversary of the March on Washington. And people thought you could not get people out, and they came from all over the country. And we marched on Wall Street and had an enormous turnout. The only mass black march, black-led march this year. We had a lot of protests, a lot of marches. I salute all No Kings marches and all. But the black organization march, it welcomed everybody. We had white, black, everybody there. Was our march on Wall Street in August. And then our Triumph Award and on into our fall agenda of organizing, mobilizing. We've expanded. We've started chapters in about 12 new cities. So I am proud of what we've done this year, but it's only the beginning because our very rights are under attack, and they're not even being quiet about it. They want to revoke the Voting Rights Act. Section 2 may fall with this. They want to end the Civil Rights Act of 64. That's what the end of DEI is about. So let us be more alert and active than ever. History will decide whether the civil rights gains of the 50s and 60s died in the 2020s. That's on your watch and mine. So if we've got to march, we have to protest, we have to lobby, and we have to rally, whatever we need to do, we need to put our shoulder to the wheel more than ever. I'm going to lay out a plan on King Day, both in Harlem at our annual event and in Washington at our annual Martin Luther King Day breakfast that we do in D.C., in two cities that day. And then, of course, all roads lead to New York to pay for our convention. We had, as I said, the largest attendance convention last year. In 2025, it needs to be more this year because our very existence is at stake. We also are closing our negotiations on a new headquarters, our national headquarters that befit our mission. I'm so excited about it, but I can't give you details. We're just about ready to sign the contract, but it will be something that will last longer than many of our lifetimes. So we came alive in 25, despite a hostile administration, despite the fact that a lot of people were intimidated and spooked into silence. We came alive in 25. Now we have to straighten out tricks in 26. I need you, we need each other. Let's do this. All these tricks, don't forget, Trump only won by 1.5%. He is trying to act like he has a mandate. No, he has a mission, Project 2025. We have the mandate that we can't let them undo what has been done. And we must even go further for the empowerment of all people. Happy New Year. And be focused.
Some people report the news. Others interpret it. But there are those who transform it into truth. Ari Melba has redefined journalism with intellect, creativity, and courage. He blends culture and current events, politics and poetry, truth and transparency. And in doing so, he reminds us that storytelling is a sacred work. Ari understands that our narratives shape our nation, and he has used his platform to highlight issues that matter to the people, not just to the powerful. Tonight we honor him for bridging art and activism, for using his voice to educate, inspire, and empower. Join me, please, in celebrating Ari Melba, recipient of the President's Award of Historic Transformative Leadership. Gallant.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. How are you guys doing? First of all,
you live. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Charles Williams is our co-host. Don't forget now, Martin Luther King weekend is not a holiday to take off. It's a holy day to come and be on, turned on, involved. We fought, we marched. I will never forget the petitioning, the marching, the rallying we had to do all over this country to get the holiday. And we didn't do it so we'd have a day to go to the mall. We did it because we wanted one day the federal government would shut this country down in recognition of a freedom fighter and what that represented, not just for the ego of Dr. King, but for what he represented. And that's what Monday is. So I beseech you, do something in recognition of that this weekend. And tell your children, grandchildren, what it means. This is not like other holidays. They are going to try to do all they can. They've said it. I'm not imagining this. To make this the last King holiday. We've got to show up big numbers everywhere. Meet me, if you're in the tri-state area, meet me at the Saturday Action Rally in the morning for my King Day address. What we up against now, we up against more now than we've ever been since Dr. King's assassination. I'm going to break it down and what I think we need to do about it. I also will have the school's chancellor, the largest school system in the world in New York, young black man appointed Kamar Samuels, will be speaking at the National Action Network Action Rally in the morning, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the House of Justice in Harlem, 145th and Lenox. You that are not in the tri-state area can watch it live on Impact Television or on live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net. Then on tomorrow evening and Sunday evening, Saturday and Sunday, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. I'm live both days on MS Now, formerly known as MSNBC, and I'm on 5 p.m. both nights live. And among my guests this weekend, I'm going to have the U.S. Senator from Minnesota about what's going on the ground there, Tina Smith and other senators. I'm going to have former Attorney General of the United States under Barack Obama, Eric Holder, on one day. I'm going to have Brandon Scott, the mayor of Baltimore, Maryland, on, who is going to talk about how immigration has impacted Baltimore, and at the same time, he brought crime down to record lows. I'm going to have Minister Janae Amari on one day. I'm going to have who's the head of Isaiah. We have an action-packed weekend. I'm going to have Angie Craig on from Minnesota, the congresswoman. And I'm going to have on the minority leader of the House of Representatives, will be speaker if we vote right. Hakeem Jeffries will be on one day this weekend. And, of course, Martin Luther King III and Andrea Waters King's, Dr. King's namesake and son and daughter-in-law will be on talking about what to do now that the King holiday is an issue. So watch Politics Nation both nights at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, or Saturday and Sunday. Then on Monday, the holiday, National Action Network is going to do what we do every year. We start in Washington with our Martin Luther King Day holiday breakfast. We're at the Salamander Hotel this year, and we're honoring Eric Holder, what he did not only as Attorney General, but since then fighting on these voter district laws. Nobody stronger. We'll be honoring him. We'll be honoring Sheila Johnson, who is the owner of the Salamander, but is the black woman who owns more hotels and motels than any in the country. She's the co-founder of BT with her former husband, Bob Johnson. We'll be honoring Donna Brazile, the political strategist, and we'll be honoring the mayor of Baltimore, who's brought gun violence down to a record low in Baltimore. Maryland. All of them will be there. Then we fly to New York for our annual Martin Luther King Day Public Policy Forum. What we do at NAN is we have the elected officials, those that's sworn to do what is right, report what have you done since King Day that is in the spirit and the tradition of Martin Luther King. What have you done around inclusion? What have you done around diversity? What have you done to protect voting rights and civil rights? And they report, we give them all a few minutes to address us, because that's what King is all about. I grew up in the King movement. And we have confirmed Governor Hochul of New York will be there. Mayor Mandani will be there. We have Senator Schumer. We have Congressman Jeffries, Attorney General of New York State Tish James, and Senator Gillibrand. List goes on and on. And it is a matter of honor and respect to Dr. King that they all come on a stage that his family works and has worked with for decades and say, I'm going to give my accountability on this. And you can watch it if you're not in the New York area. You can watch it on Impact Television or on nationalactionnetwork.net. Now, we're building up. We're on our HBCU tour. We already have started. We started in Philadelphia and Lincoln University. We're on our way from there, 13 other campuses. And all of it, we're going to bring a lot of these young people to the National Action Network Convention. And it will be April 8th through the 11th. Sign up now. I'll be releasing the schedule of who's speaking in about 10 days, but sign up at www.nationalactionnetwork.net or call the toll-free number 1-877-626-4651. Reverend Williams, what's going on at Detroit National Action Network in the morning?
Well, we got an action-packed agenda lined up, and we got a special guest speaker all the way from Cleveland, Ohio. One of our other activists who has been doing great work, Bishop Tony Minor, is going to join us tomorrow, 10 a.m., the historic King Solomon Baptist Church at the National Action Network, Michigan, Saturday Action Rally. And certainly we're looking forward to hear from him as well as some of the other reports. And then, of course, on Monday, we have our Martin Luther King brunch, Dream Keepers brunch, where we get the opportunity to highlight individuals who've done great work to continue to keep Dream alive. And the deputy mayor of the city of Detroit, Brother Brian White, longtime activist. Mom was president of the state conference of NAACP, and family's been involved, and he's been involved in the movement a long time. And so he's the deputy mayor to Mary Sheffield. We're looking forward to hearing from him as well as honoring him. A lot to do this weekend. If you'd like to be a part of the Dream Keepers brunch, come to the Saturday rally. Make sure you get your tickets and get yourself registered and logged in so that we can make sure we can account for everyone there. Be involved, get involved, and let's do this.
All right, I'm almost out of time, but I got to go to Dr. Marcia McCoy in our Cleveland chapter, head of National Action Network, Greater Cleveland chapter. Dr. McCoy.
How you doing, my leader? I'm going to yield my time, but we will be with Reverend Dr. Otis Moss and Reverend Cabinet. Go ahead, Bishop.
Dr. Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Charles Williams.
Yes, sir.
Hold my mule, my brother.
I got you.
My brothers and my sisters, the most dangerous times of biblical history is in the days of the judges, when everyone did what they thought was right in their own eyes. This perilous period was occupied by the most tumultuous times of the ages. Fast forward today, and the most powerful nation in the world has as its president an immoral, unethical, unprincipled man who claims to govern by the immoral conscience of himself and himself alone. To hell with the Constitution. Forget the Supreme Court. Away with the U.S. Congress. Eradicate the guardrails of democracy and govern accordingly to one's own unscrupulous, unconscionable, and narcissistic self. So what do we have as President of the United States of America? A convicted felon, a legitimate election denier, a 10-year best friend of Epstein, who sex trafficked young girls 11 and 14 years of age, a racist bigot who called neo-Nazis very fine people, mocked disabled people, called veterans suckers and losers, advised bleach as a cure for COVID that killed millions of people, paid hush money to porn stars, tear gas peaceful protesters, hoarded classified documents at Mar-a-Lago, extorted money from Ukraine, accepted emoluments from dictators, gives millionaires and billionaires tax cuts, and denies health care, cuts Social Security, and do away with the Department of Education. A man who implements tariffs that raise food prices to make the poor poorer, cut aid to starving children around the world, builds gold ballrooms, tears down portions of the White House with no regard to congressional approval. God help this nation and this world when law and order and morality are sorely in the hands of a wannabe dictator and king, a deeply flawed, racist, convicted, bigoted, and obvious white supremacist. In convicted Donald Trump, he is sick, warped in his mind with self-supremacy. Granting civil rights, he says, to black people harms and denies equal rights to white people. How weird and bizarre is that? Now, to corroborate the fact that this convicted felon had no morals, no conscience, no guardrails for law and order, this disreputable demagogue confiscates a sovereign nation, threatens to buy or take Greenland by force, a NATO fellow country, the Panama Canal, and entertains annexing Mexico and Cuba. He despises and denigrates black nations and has nothing but second-class citizenship for black people. Every time a black person gets a promotion, he says it hurts, harms, and discriminates against white people. Another of his 35,000 lies. He is without question an avowed closet racist, bigoted white supremacist with a nasty, foul toilet mouth. He pardons January 6th insurrectionists and now is hiring them for his ICE gun-toting, mask-wearing, hate paratroopers who are terrifying Americans and killing innocent civilians. What kind of logic is this? Tear gas and peaceful protesters in America and threatening to wage war on authoritarian countries who kill peaceful...
We got a pill, Rev.
All right, we got to go, Bishop.
My brothers and sisters, we must vote to get rid of these tricks in 26.
All right, get rid of these tricks in 26, Bishop Kavanaugh. Let's take it on out. Let me wish everybody a happy King Day. We'll be live Monday from the House of Justice. And let me thank Reverend Charles Williams. Let me thank all of you that called in. Listen, and you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real, keep it real, keep it real. I'll talk to you Monday.